Hey everybody, just leaving Orlando. Finished up my pre-op visit this morning. Had a 2-hour visit, well, about an hour visit at the doctor's office. And he just basically went over some questions. I got my chauffeur over here. Say hey, baby. Say hey, John. He's not much to be on camera, but anyway. Oh look, there's the famous I-4 eyesore. Looks a lot better than it had for the last 10 years. Anyway, so yeah, basically his office visit was just going over, the nurse from the hospital came in, from the unit I'm going to be on after surgery, and talked about, you know, what's going to happen afterwards. Halfway through, she's like, "You're a nurse, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." Because she was explaining everything, but I'm not one to sit there and go, "I'm a nurse, I know." I just let them do their spiel. And basically talked a little bit about the diet afterwards. You know, I'll spend at least one night in the hospital, possibly two, just depending on how things go. And then after she left, the doctor came in and he just basically answered any other questions we had. My biggest questions were, I had read somewhere that you have an increased risk of like colon cancer and GI cancer after having a bariatric procedure. But he was saying no, that wasn't an accurate study, and it's not really true. People that actually have had cancer, colon, kidney, and there was one other he said, breast cancer, before having bariatric surgery, have a decreased chance of having a recurrence of their cancer after bariatric surgery. So interesting stuff. That was one of the questions I asked him. And the other question I asked was about, like, say something long-term happened down the road and you required, like, tube feedings, like trauma, or, you know, you have a stroke, you can't swallow. Like, how do they do artificial feeds on patients who have had, like, gastric bypass and procedures? And he said you could feed with what they call a Dobhoff tube, which is a tiny little feeding tube. He said, or because they leave the stomach in place, you can go in and have a PEG tube placed into the stomach and still feed the stomach that way. So I thought that was interesting. And then, I mean, no questions that are of real concern regarding my surgery, but just stuff I had come across that I was interested in. You know, again, one thing I like about Dr. T is I made the remark of, "You're going to fix me," and he goes, "No, I'm going to help you." He's like, "I'm giving you a tool." He's like, "But you have to fix yourself." And I think that's what's so important about the surgery, is knowing that this is just a tool. Like, if I don't change my mindset, if I don't make up my mind that I'm going to eat the way I need to eat and do what I need to do, it's not going to work. It's going to be just like everything else I've tried and failed. It's just going to be harder to fail because now I have a tool that's not going to allow me to so easily revert back to my old habits. So I feel really good. I feel like this is going to be a success. Yes, I know there's going to be some miserable days ahead, but I'll get through those and things will get better over time. He even said that you just have to give your body time to heal and adjust. So yeah, there's that. I found out they're using a new medicine for nausea. I don't remember what he called it, Amend or something. I got to look it up, but he said it seems to work really well for patients who are having surgery, if they give it in pre-op before surgery. So I got to look that one up because that was new info. Then anyway, after I left his office, we went over to the pre-op testing area. They call it PAT, pre-admission testing. The nurse there just went over what's going to happen the day of surgery. Go in, get checked in. They'll take me to pre-op. They are allowing one visitor. My mom's going to be there. John has to stay home and work. So he's not going to go. But my mom, dad, and the kids are going. So my mom will go in with me. Dad will stay with the kids at the hotel. I'm not worried about it. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh. Mom will go in with me. She'll have to wait in the waiting room, but she will be able to come into pre-op with me after they get me settled into pre-op. You know, in pre-op, obviously, they get you hooked up to the monitor, vitals, all the good drugs. They give you a light sedative in pre-op to help you relax. With nausea medicine. And from when I worked there before, Dr. T and Dr. Jawad, his partner, there's like 20 something meds they give. So just a lot of different meds for different reasons, but that serve different purposes to help with the surgery. They put me on blood thinners in pre-op, and also in the hospital to kind of help with blood clots, prevent blood clots in the legs. But even Dr. T said, getting up and moving every 2 hours, they get you out of the bed to move and to walk. He said that's one of the best things to help heal and to help prevent that stuff. And then I had to have another EKG done, a chest x-ray, and blood work, pre-op blood work done. Part of my visit today was, do I mention how I cheated, during this pre-op stage? Do I even tell him that I cheated? And I did. I said, listen, I've not been 100% on cue with this pre-op diet. And he just laughed. And, the nurse even said, listen, it's not so much about losing weight, it's just avoiding high-fat foods. So if you cheat, it's fine. Just be careful and don't eat a lot of stuff high in fat or fried foods such as that. Stick to lean foods so that you can get your liver shrunk before surgery. And shrinking the liver is important just to reduce the risk of complications. I guess it kind of gets in the way of things when it's too big. And then I had to tell the nurse practitioner in anesthesia, another issue I've had is I've had some dysrhythmias with my heart. Some of y'all may know. Nothing severe, nothing major, but just a few extra beats here and there. And I was like, do I even mention that? Because it's not that big of a deal. But I thought, Lord forbid something happened, and I didn't tell him that. So I did tell her that I'd had the extra beats. I told her that they think it's related to sleep apnea, but I've not officially been diagnosed with sleep apnea. I haven't had a sleep study. I told her that I did have a stress test, and the stress test was negative a couple of months ago. So now they wanted a copy of the stress test. So I called my doctor's office, and they're supposed to fax it in today. Hopefully they get it today. So my only worry now is there being a little setback because of that, which I don't think there will be. As long as they see the stress test was negative, was normal, then I feel like they're going to move forward with no issues. But I guess since they have that information, they just want it, and that makes sense. They have to be safe and cover themselves in all aspects. So it would be foolish for a doctor to know there's been an issue and not have all the information he needs before proceeding with the surgery or with anesthesia, not having all that information on hand. Because patients lie. I mean, I can vouch firsthand for that. Patients will lie. They either think it's not a big deal, or they don't want to prevent a surgery or procedure from happening, so they just aren't honest with their doctors. And that causes and can lead to severe problems and cause them a lot of harm. So I can't blame the doctors for wanting everything they need to get. But anyway, that was the gist of it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm supposed to be back Sunday. I gotta have a COVID test. The doctors were like, yeah, they'll do it the day of surgery, so that should be fun. But then the nurse in pre-op was like, oh no, they want to do it before then. And I told her, I said, I absolutely can't come back 3 hours for a COVID test. That's foolish. So I'm going with what the doctor said, and I'll have it done the day of surgery. And just get there early to get it done. But yeah, other than that, we're going to spend 3 nights in the hotel. Well, we have the hotel for 3 nights. Mom and Dad will be in the hotel. She's not allowed to stay in the hospital with me overnight. She can be there during the surgery, and she can come up to my room after surgery. But I think she has to leave at like 8, 6, 8, whatever their visiting time is in, and then come back the next day if she wants to. But she'll be the only one allowed in the hospital for the whole stay. They only allow 1 visitor per whole stay, which is fine. I mean, it'll give me time to rest at night, give her better rest. She'll have to sleep in the hospital room, and she'll be there to help with the kids, which I'm sure my dad's going to appreciate and need. So we're going down Sunday. As soon as I get off work Sunday, we're going to head down to Orlando, check in. Sunday I can have a light breakfast, which I'll probably just have a protein shake. But then I'm on clear liquids the rest of that day. And I'll be NPO after midnight, so nothing to eat or drink after midnight, the night of my surgery. And then we have to be at the hospital at 7 that morning to check in. Well, they said 8, but I'm getting there at 7 because of the stupid COVID test. And then I'll stay in the hospital. Mom and Dad will have the hotel for a couple of nights if they need it. And then we're going to John's parents' timeshare and staying for the rest of the week, or for a week, just to be close in case something happens. Plus, it gets the kids out of the house for a little bit. They have like a little water park there, nice pool, lazy river type thing, game room. Kids can play and have a good time. To give them a little summer vacation, I guess. Even though I'm probably not going to feel much like vacationing. I don't know. I'm staying positive. Like, I feel like I'm going to do okay. I'm sure I'll be sore, but I'm not expecting an excruciating amount of pain. They did go ahead and give me my prescriptions. I have to drop them off. I have to get them filled now so that I can take them with me and have them when I'm discharged from the hospital. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that.